Hi guys, this is Data Cube. It's Frank. Today, let's talk about waste. Because last video we are talking about what is Lean doing. Lean is looking to Lean is focusing on reducing the waste. So today we are talking about waste. In the Lean system, in the whole Lean system, everything you do should be value added to the products, to the service you provide. So on the other hand, if the things you do for the products, for the services, they are not value added to them, it will be a waste. In the Lean system, there were 7 wastes. Now, more and more people are talking about 8 wastes. So let's talk about 8 wastes today. The first one will be transportation. It is really easy to understand that transportation happens every minute, every second, in the plant, in the whole area. For example, if we're going to produce a product, we need different kinds of materials. And how we get the different materials? We pay money from our supplier. We need use truck, train, airplane, marine to transport all of the materials to our plant. And this is transportation. When the products come into our facility, we need to put the products or materials into our warehouse and put onto the shelves and move those materials to the shop floor. And then, after all kinds of processing, we were moving the products, finished products, to the warehouse again, and then ship them out. So every time when you want to move the material, there are transportation. But in Lean system, what we call evaluated means the process or the thing you do should be part of the service or part of the products, but the transportation is not the part of your products. So they're waste. For sure, we cannot 100% eliminate all of the waste, but we still can use lots of tools to reduce the transportation, to improve the transportation. There are lots of tools in Lean system to improve transportation, to reduce the transportation. We'll talk about that. Later. The second waste is inventory or buffer. Sometimes we don't want to stop the line. We don't want to in the factory. Sometimes we don't want to stop the production line because we don't have much more material. So we build lots of inventory, or called buffer. But this inventory or buffer are not necessary because because we need more space to store those inventory. We need more manpower to manage those buffers. We need to spend more money to buy those inventory. And if someday our order reduced, but we still have so many inventory, that would be a disaster. So in Lean, we need to reduce the much more. We need to reduce the unnecessary inventory or buffer to build a reasonable safety stock in the warehouse and in your production line. The third waste is motion. Imagine that when an operator working on assembling a product, if we have a standard process, let's say right hand to do this, left hand to do this, right hand to do this, your eyes to this, looking into the parts. But sometimes the operators, they are not following the standard, which means if they have some other unnecessary movements while assembling the products, there will be motion waste. And the Lean, of course, need to eliminate those kind of waste. The fourth waste is waiting. This one is really easy to understand. For example, we call Uber, and we want to go to somewhere, maybe For example, we want to go to a museum and we call Uber, and it may need a 30 minutes drive, but we spend 10 or 30 minutes wait till the drivers come here, and these minutes are waste. If we go back to the production shop floor, when I'm working on this process, and if the machine are not ready, I have to wait. If I don't have much more material from the previous process, then I have to wait. And we have a meeting on 2 o'clock, but someone is late and all of them have to wait. All this kind of wait are waste. Another one is over processing. In the manufacturing area, each of the process should be a standard to followed by the operators, or following by the certain kind of machine. If you meet the standard, it's okay enough. But someone or some operators, they do more job after they already have met the standard, and that's waste. Because we already spend lots of time and the try and the certification to make this kind of standard. And what we're going to do is following the standard. We don't have to do more. Next one is overproduction. We know that to produce a product, there are different kinds of process. If you are handling one of the process, and the daily output should be 500, it's enough, but you have produced 800. So there's 300 that are waste. Sometimes we think that it's good to produce more. That means I have very high efficiency, right? But if we are going to look in the whole line, that your process is not the bottleneck, and you producing so much parts, that means we need more manpower to manage those parts. That means the warehouse need to buy more material because they think they don't have material. Actually, you have much more here. So in this topic, we will spend more time to talk about that later. And next one is defects. It's easy to understand that we don't want to produce bad parts, right? Every parts need to be meet the standard. If some of the parts not meet the standards, the defects, we need to spend more time or manpower to repair those, to reproduce those, to clean those, to scrap those. It's not good. And the last one is for the head count. The skills of head count or the manpower are not being used. Because sometimes, for example, we have a position. This position is doing the regular, easy operating work every day. But when we hiring people, we see this guy from some kind of very good company. He have a strong experience, so we just hired him to do this position. And in this case, he may only need 20% of his experience to do this job, and 8% of those are waste. He can do nothing because he already have his job done, and this is a waste. Okay, these are 7 wastes. If you have questions, just text me and we can talk about more later. Thank you. Bye.